Welcome back to the Gumbo Table. We interrupt our regularly scheduled programming to bring you another quickie vignette, or as we say in New Orleans, a little lagniappe. My son Nick brought to my attention an avalanche of sigil concepts often found in constellations on Casey Brown's Enter the Stars YouTube channel. It's all in a few seconds, really, during the final segment of the film Click with Adam Sandler. Again, in just a few seconds, we see a syringe filled with a blue fluid, hear a reference to Colin Farrell, and view several Farrell sporting umbrellas. Additionally, there are pillars of light in the background and Adam Sandler making the OK/666 hand sign. In this scene, the fluid in the syringe is intended to subdue an out-of-control patient. The azure pigment is suggestive of the blue blood of the gods by which much world royalty has claimed flows in their veins, deeming them a divine right to rule over the rest of us. Blue blood does exist in nature. It is copper-based as opposed to iron-based red blood, and it is found in a whole host of Halloween creatures, Louisiana cuisine, and other delicacies banned as unclean by the biblical book of Leviticus. 501c3 churches don't generally observe this because of prevailing interpretations of the covenants and Peter's dream, and well, I guess they believe God changes his mind, or that he didn't really mean it, or now it's all covered in the blood in some way that murder, adultery, and a host of sexual practices somehow are not. It is interesting to note that of the sheep and the goats mentioned in the biblical parable, sheep require supplemental iron, and goats, which I myself raised for many years, require supplemental copper. Also in the parable are the wheat and the tares. Wheat contains iron, and some of the best candidates for tares are said by Casey to contain copper. L.A. Marzulli and Timothy Alvarino have both mentioned that Nephilim giants mined high-quality copper in Michigan, which is turned up in Sardinia. The syringe needs no introduction. In fact, many people willingly introduced it into their own arms in the last 3 years to receive injections that some think could acclimate them to blue blood influence. Who knows? The ferrule, F-E-R-R-U-L-E, is a component part of the syringe and also of the umbrella, which Casey sees as a syringe symbol. The word coincidentally sounds a bit like Pharaoh's rule. And of course, like the name Farrell, as in actor Colin Farrell, who is mentioned several times in Casey's work. In this scene of Click, Adam Sandler makes his escape, diverting the orderly's attention with, "Look, isn't that Colin Farrell?" Colin Farrell is deservedly a lightning rod for Casey Brown concepts, as well evidenced by his career role trajectory. Early on, he was in Phone Booth, named for a communication convenience some of you old folks may remember, and that Casey has pointed out is filled with copper and featured as a time travel or transformation device in numerous films. Also early on, he was the villain Bullseye in Daredevil, himself quite good, but yet another dreary misfire in Ben Affleck's quest to be a superhero. Bullseye was a villain who pierced his quarry with sharp objects and needles, not unlike syringes do, and perhaps representing the serpent/Apollo's arrow in the chest, which Casey has pointed out is Donnie Trump Darko's description of time travel. It is also reverential to the perception of time traveling by demons as they jump from body to body by way of canopic jar black goo. If you need a further explanation of that, see Enter the Stars channel. Farrell's resume also includes lobster, one of the aforementioned blue-blooded delicacies banned in the book of Leviticus, the Batman, suggestive of both the market that is wet animal in the Wuhan Ho Plandemic Ground Zero and the two punctures of the vampire or snake's fangs that bite, injecting corruption into the bloodstream and genetic material like the two pokes that were mandated did in the opinion of some. Casey's pointed out the umbrella is both syringe and bat wings. In addition, Farrell has been in a grand assortment of films with spiritual warfare and occult themes. 13 Lives, Fright Night, Total Recall, Artemis Fowl, The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, and so on and on and on. Adam Sandler's Click is, in addition, a time travel movie. Sandler plays a businessman who can't find time for his family until given a special remote by an eccentric inventor played by Christopher Walken. The inventor's name is Morty, and many think this film was the inspiration for Rick and Morty, which was clearly inspired by the time travel movie and important magical working Back to the Future. Sandler's character comes to realize that family is all that matters. In that last sequence, Sandler's character is dying in a futuristic hospital. His children come to visit him, and he sees his son is just like him, getting ready to cancel his honeymoon to take care of his business. His children are rushed out of the room when this news causes Sandler's heart rate to zoom. Sandler realizes that at any cost, he must keep his son from making the same mistakes that he himself made. This is when he rips himself away from the life support tubes, gaining the attention of the hospital attendant who is about to subdue him with the blue fluid. That's when Sandler tells him, "Look, is that Colin Farrell?" and injects the attendant, who then falls to the floor unconscious. Struggling mightily, he runs out into the rain with great urgency to impart his final wisdom to his son. This, of course, is where we see the umbrellas, symbolic of syringes and also used with great ritual magic symbolism by Gene Kelly in the title number for Singing in the Rain, in the Umbrella Academy superhero show, Mary Poppins, Batman's foe the Penguin in numerous incarnations, Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange, Rene Magritte's paintings, and so much more. We could say a lot more, but we promised to do a quick one today. We do hope to do more of these Lagniappe episodes. This is Gumbo Craig, and this is Future Visions and Distant Echoes. Thank you for walking out of Babylon with me. Keep checking back. We've got shows coming up on germ theory and the reality of viruses in our examination of medicalization and the coming biodigital interface. Shows on civil wars and race, both the original Civil War and the ones that lie ahead for us. The Beat Generation as manufactured dissent, more popular today than ever, and a lagniappe on the recently deceased David Crosby with a brief encounter that I had with him years ago during the presidential convention, supplemented with a deep reality perspective on Crosby by way of the late, great Dave McGowan and his book, Weird Scenes Inside the Canyon, Laurel Canyon, Covert Ops, and the dark heart of the hippie dream. Until then, keep clear as you can of wokes and the authorities. All glory to the Most High God. Shalom.